Welcome to the Brian Craig Show podcast. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. The Brian Craig Show podcast is brought to you by Tom Laporta at Laporta Roofing, who will never sell you a roof you do not need. If you're in the state of Florida, go to laportaroofing.com. Breaking news, the Trump campaign has been hacked. A hacker used a phishing link to break into a high-ranking official's email with the Trump campaign. Then they stole internal documents and communications, which they have been leaking to Politico. The Trump campaign, and remember, Politico's left wing.
These people are scum.
The Trump campaign says foreign sources hostile to the United States.
Iranian. Came from Iran.
Yeah, and Microsoft released a report pointing the finger at Iranian hackers. So Politico is cooperating with Iranian hackers?
Yep, seems so. That's your Democratic Party right there.
I mean, that sounds...
They collaborate with terrorists. But Trump's the bad guy.
Now, here's the article in Politico. I've not. This just broke as we were, we were talking about My Pillow at the end of the last segment. This just broke while I was talking about My Pillow.
Yes.
So I've not read this. Okay, I just pulled up Politico, and the headline of the article, and then I'm going to click it and we'll read it. I have no idea what it says, but the headline is: "We received internal Trump documents from Robert." They have Robert in quotations. The campaign just confirmed it was hacked. That's the Politico headline. Remember, they said that the
So what are they trying to act like they're all innocent?
Yeah.
Please.
President Donald Trump's campaign said Saturday that some of its internal communications had been hacked. The acknowledgement came after Politico began receiving emails from an anonymous account with documents from inside Trump's operation. The Trump campaign blamed foreign sources hostile to the United States, citing a Microsoft report on Friday that Iranian hackers sent a spear phishing email in June to a high-ranking official on a presidential campaign. Microsoft did not identify the campaign targeted by email and declined to comment Saturday. Politico has not independently verified the identity of the hacker or their motivation, and a Trump campaign spokesperson declined to say if they had further information substantiating the campaign's suggestion that it was targeted by Iran. These documents were obtained illegally from foreign sources hostile to the United States, intended to interfere with the democratic process. This is what the Trump campaign said. On Friday, a new report from Microsoft found that Iranian hackers broke into the account of a high-ranking official on the U.S. presidential campaign in June 2024, which coincides with the close timing of Trump's selection of a vice presidential nominee. The Trump spokesperson declined to say whether the campaign had been in contact with Microsoft or law enforcement about the breach, obviously because he's under Secret Service protection, saying it would not discuss such conversations. On July 22nd, this again, I'm reading a story from Politico. On July 22nd, Politico began receiving emails from an anonymous account. I'm reading this for the first time cold. I've not read this article. Over the course of the past few weeks, the person who used an AOL email account, who does that anymore? And
Iranian hackers, apparently.
Yeah. And identified themselves only as Robert, relayed what appeared to be internal communications from a senior Trump campaign official. A research dossier the campaign had apparently done on Trump's running mate, J.D. Vance, which was dated February 23rd, was included in the documents. The documents are authentic, according to two people familiar with them, and granted anonymity to describe internal communications. One of the people described the dossier as a preliminary version of Vance's vetting file. The dossier was a 271-page document based on publicly available information about Vance's past record and statements, with some, such as past criticisms of Trump, identified in the document as potential vulnerabilities. The person also sent part of a research document about Marco Rubio, who was also a finalist for the VP slot. The person said they had a variety of documents from Trump's legal and court documents to internal campaign discussions. Asked how they obtained the documents, the person responded, "I suggest you don't be curious about where I got them from. Any answer to this question will compromise me and also legally restricts you from publishing them." The scope of the information obtained by the hacker is unclear, but it represents a major security breach for the Trump campaign. Last month, reports emerged of the U.S. intelligence community receiving increasing. Look what they shot this guy. They got a Pakistani assassin. His plane had to make an emergency landing, and now this. There is
somebody.
What the heck?
Or some people, I'm guessing, on the inside that are just making him very vulnerable to these things.
That's why he's been in Mar-a-Lago. You know,
who is on the inside doing this
before
crap?
I finish this article, because I want to finish it. I've not read it, and there might be more information. This is why Trump's been holed up in Mar-a-Lago the last few weeks, okay? And this is something that's important for you guys to know. It's August. This is the hottest freaking time of the year in Florida. Mar-a-Lago.
Oh, is he in Mar-a-Lago now, not New Jersey?
He's been in Mar-a-Lago. He's been there for the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Mar-a-Lago is closed this time of year.
Right,
The club is closed. It's a place where rich people go in the winter because it's so hot. And Trump usually only comes here maybe in the summer for an event or two, but he stays in Bedminster in New Jersey. And I remember when Netanyahu came to town a couple weeks ago, I thought it was unusual that he was here.
That's right, he came here.
And I remember saying, I'm surprised he's here. And then we find out at the press conference last week, he's been here for weeks. And I haven't been going to Mar-a-Lago since Trump got shot. I went there that night when I got off the air, if you guys remember.
Yeah.
And Trump put up a whole bunch of security around, and he really doesn't want people coming by like I used to. So I'm respecting that, and I haven't been doing it. But Mar-a-Lago is a literal fortress. It's got a moat on each side, and it's surrounded by a massive wall. And he's there and not been campaigning as much because he's in danger. So how do you
find? Is this how do things like this?
You get those links you get all the time that you don't click.
But is there somebody on the inside giving this to somebody?
I don't know.
And helping them.
It was a phishing email. Okay, let me go back to this article.
It's possible.
Last month, reports emerged. This is from Politico. Last month, reports emerged of the U.S. intelligence community receiving increasing evidence suggesting Iran was working on plots to kill Trump in retaliation for his decision to order the assassination of Soleimani in 2020. And I told you guys
they've been after him for that.
He was in his first term after the Soleimani incident, New Year's Day, I woke up on New Year's Day and I was off work and you were sleeping in and it was really early in the morning. And I said, you know what? I'm going to go up and go up to Mar-a-Lago.
First of all, let me just correct something real quick. Well, you always say how I sleep in.
Well, it was 6 a.m.
You get up like at 4 a.m.
Yes.
I get up at like 8.
Yeah.
So I don't want you to keep giving the impression that I sleep till noon.
No.
Because you just get up at ungodly hours.
It was like 6 o'clock in the morning on New Year's Day.
And Brian gets up in the middle of the night.
Yeah, I do.
Sleep, just to make that correction
and,
here.
I said, I want to go to Mar-a-Lago and do a live stream and show everybody Air Force One, because Air Force One was in town. And Trump had a big New Year's Eve party. And I got up there to the airport and Air Force One wasn't there. And I knew he had his New Year's Eve party because I saw it in the news, and some of that footage was like at 1 a.m.
Yeah.
So I was like, what is going on? So I drove around the entire airport. I said, well, maybe they parked Air Force One and it was gone. And what I have realized from that, because there was a story that came out, there was a threat from these Iranians because of the Soleimani hit that Trump did, and they got him out of Florida. As in an emergency, they let.
Was he president then?
Yes, Air Force. Yeah. He left on Air Force One. So
here's what I think is: Iran seems to be the common denominator here with these things. With the guy that just came in, and now this with Politico and all this, and maybe something with the plane. Once he's president, his security detail gets a major upgrade. He's not as vulnerable as he is now. And I think they're trying to get this done before he gets elected, because once he's in, he's not going to be as easy to get to as he is now. You know what I mean? He's in a private residence. He has got to, I'm sure he has got to beef up his security big time.
Yeah, absolutely. All right.
They're after him.
So let me get back to this. I'm going to go back just a little bit and finish this article. Because like I said, I have not read this article and it's filled with information. So I'm just going to go back to where I was. Last month, reports emerged of the U.S. intelligence community receiving increasing evidence suggesting Iran was working on plots to kill Trump in retaliation for his order to assassinate Soleimani in 2020.
Right.
even after he was shot. Remember, they were blaming Iran. There's no indication that the shooter who targeted Trump at a rally last month was connected to the plot. In his statement Saturday, the Trump campaign spokesperson pointed to those reports, saying the Iranians know that President Trump will stop their reign of terror just like he did in his first 4 years in the White House.
He'll cut off the funding.
Politico then writes, Iranian government officials could not immediately be reached for comment. Really, they have a way to contact Iran, Politico?
What he says he'll do is he will stop. What he did before is he told any country that bought oil from Iran or bought anything from them, he would not give them money. He said that. He said, that's what I told Russia, all these European countries. And now the Bidens are letting people buy stuff from Iran, oil and stuff, to enrich Iran, to give them money. That's how they're funding the attacks on Israel. And they're going after him now.
Yeah, so that's the rest of the article. This is just breaking and developing as we're talking.
My goodness.
But, I mean, you look at what they've done. They've shot him. He had a plane emergency yesterday. He was hacked by Iran, and they had this Pakistani assassin that they just caught the other day. You know, this is
like out of the medieval period when people would like to try to kill off kings so they could take over.
You know, that's how great of a president Trump is.
Yeah.
That these enemies of America are stopping at nothing to try to stop him.
That's right. Then that should tell every American that he is the person that we need to run this country, because if these terrorists want him gone, then what does that tell you?
Exactly.
Like you said, that because they don't want him to come in and save the country.
Exactly.
And go against them.
Exactly.
They know once he's in, their money's over. They're done.
This is really bad. Now, I want to take a moment to thank all of our Patreon supporters for their support of the program. And if you would like to support the program and my content, a great way to do that is to become a Patreon supporter. If you'd like to become a Patreon supporter, there's a link in the description of this and every episode. Patreon supporters have access to commercial-free editions of all of our podcast episodes. And our top Patreon supporters get a live on-air thank you shout-out on each and every episode. Okay, so the names you will hear now are our top Patreon supporters. I want to thank Andrew and Connie, Christine, ETW, Chuck, D, Pamela, Rick, Nick, Wesley, Macho, Mike P, Carlos, Paulette, John, Heather, David, Maria in Texas, Richard, Alice, K-Mac, LeeZep, Shawna, Constance, George, Brandon, Rob and Trish Wilkerson, Christy R, and John S. These are our top Patreon supporters. Now listen, we're going to take a quick break. You do not want to miss the next segment. The next segment.
Oh my gosh, it gets better.
The next segment was going to be the first segment, but then we got this breaking news in the middle of the program. There is something that happened that has come out in his very own words. We're going to share with you a video from Kamala Harris's stolen valor vice presidential running mate, Tim Walz, that is the biggest lowlife thing you have ever heard from an American politician. And I'm telling you, that is not an exaggeration. My name's Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. We'll be right back after this.
From the classroom to the brink of burnout and back, 20-year teaching veteran Chantal Smith-Batish brings a raw and powerful new book to Amazon, Trapped in Education. From leadership to running out of the classroom, a teacher's true tale from burnout to recovery. The author's story begins in 2004. A passionate educator thriving as a teacher. She guided countless students, but in 2020, like the rest of us, her world changed. After 2 years of living in isolation, she returned to teaching, but then faced chronic stress, PTSD, and even memory loss, which led to a diagnosis of chronic burnout. Trapped in Education isn't just a story of someone's struggles. It's a journey of healing, from therapy to spiritual awakening and even hypnotherapy. Chantal shares how she reframed her mind and reclaimed her life. Her story is a beacon of hope for anyone battling mental health challenges. Find the strength to overcome your challenges and order your copy of Trapped in Education, From Leadership to Running Out of the Classroom, a teacher's true tale from burnout to recovery. From author Chantal Smith-Batish, available on Amazon in Kindle, paperback, and hardcover editions. It's time to find your path to recovery. It's an election year in the United States. That means it's time to stand up and let the world know how you think. There's no better way to do that than with StandUpAmericans.com. That's Americans with an S. StandUpAmericans.com is your go-to online apparel store. They carry shirts, hats, travel mugs, and much more that say exactly what you're thinking. Stand up for what you believe in with StandUpAmericans.com. You'll find great gifts too. Remember who you are with gear designed for and by American patriots. Visit StandUpAmericans.com. That's Americans with an S. StandUpAmericans.com. What if everything you knew about history and our modern society was just the surface? Beneath it is a world of secrets and covert operations that have shaped our reality. From author Quentin Gertman comes an eye-opening journey through the hidden forces that have influenced our world. Forbidden Education of the 21st Century Sugar Plantation, available on Amazon. This must-read book shares the deep-rooted connections between colonialism and modern capitalism, unraveling how historical events like the Great Depression and the formation of the Federal Reserve are tied to powerful, unseen hands. Quentin Gertman doesn't just stop there. He explores lesser-known dark legacies, from the use of mass education as a tool for control to secret government programs, even the untold stories of political assassinations. Forbidden Education of the 21st Century Sugar Plantation is the untold truth. If you're ready to dig deeper and uncover the hidden currents that have shaped our world, this book is for you. Don't just accept the narrative, challenge it. Order your copy right now and you will rethink everything you thought you knew. Forbidden Education of the 21st Century Sugar Plantation from author Quentin Gertman on Amazon. Discover the truths they don't want you to know. Are you looking for a perfect gift? One that's as unique as you and your loved ones? Look no further than Alpha Designs IA on Etsy.com, where you will find only the highest quality mugs, blankets, and bags that are perfect for everyone and for every occasion. Whether you're shopping for your mom, grandma, dad, or grandpa, or you need something extra special for family, friends, or coworkers, Alpha Designs IA has exactly what you need. From weddings and pregnancy reveal gifts to Thanksgiving, retirement, camping, birthdays, Christmas, even Halloween. You'll find it at Alpha Designs IA on Etsy. And make sure to check out their stylish tote bags and cozy blankets. They make the perfect gift or a treat just for you. Shopping at Alpha Designs IA means you're giving a gift that's truly special and made with love. Visit alphadesignsia.etsy.com and discover the perfect pieces that will bring joy to your loved ones. alphadesignsia.etsy.com, where every gift is a work of art.
You are listening to The Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at briancraigshow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Okay, so Tim Walz, there has not been a nominee for president or vice president ever for one of the major parties that has this kind of baggage. In fact, we're coming up on a week since he was announced. There has not been one redeeming story about this guy at all. Every story you hear every day, it's worse and worse. When this stolen valor thing first started, it's getting worse. I said to you guys, this is going to have a snowball effect. It's going to get worse and worse and worse. And almost every hour of every day, there's been new stuff every day, but almost every hour of every day, at least during the news time, during the day, new stuff has been coming out. This clip here is one of the worst this is one of the worst. You know, when you're looking for a president or vice president, you know, you got to look at how they care for themselves and their family because, you know, a vice president can become president. It has happened. And, you know, by the way they treat their family says a lot about how they'll treat us when they're in office.
That's true. And the problem with this guy is he was a governor. He's a governor. So he has a record of activity, of action. If you have somebody who's a senator or a congressman as your vice president or even president nominee, you can talk about how they vote and things like that. But a governor is somebody who takes action, and it really affects the lives of the people in their state drastically.
Absolutely.
And that's the problem with this guy is the things he's done are not good for the people in the state.
This that I'm about to play for you, you're going to hear Tim Walz in his own voice. He made a video bragging about this. This is one of the most morally. Let me think for a second. No, let me rephrase that. This is the most morally reprehensible. I said almost one of the most
morally bankrupt.
This is one of the most morally reprehensible and morally bankrupt things I have ever heard a president, vice president, or candidate for president or vice president ever say. And when he says this, he thinks it makes him look good, like some kind of hero. Tim Walz's mother during the lockdowns had heart surgery. Heart surgery, 87 years old. Heart surgery is pretty brutal.
My dad had heart surgery.
Yeah, they break your ribs and spread them apart. They cut you the whole length of your body pretty much.
They cut your sternum.
It is a very, very intense operation, heart surgery, no matter what your age. But the older you are, the riskier it is.
I think that is the most intensive surgery you could have because I know my dad had open heart surgery.
He was like 50.
When he was 50, and it took, 60, I think.
Was he 60?
Yeah, because we had just gotten married, so he was 60. But it took him 6 months to recover, and my dad's a very active guy, and he was like 60 years old. He had a quadruple bypass surgery, my father.
Well,
and it was not an easy recovery.
Tim Walz's
for a younger guy.
Tim Walz's mother had open heart surgery at age 87, and here he is on video bragging about how he handled his mother's 87-year-old mother's recovery from heart surgery during the COVID lockdowns. Listen.
And this is what we do in my family, but we can't. My 87-year-old mother had heart surgery. We isolated her. Our goal was to bring her up here and live with us for a while. We can't bring her. So she is alone. We're dropping groceries at the door. We have to, because otherwise what that front page story is going to go on day after day after day.
So he left his 87-year-old mother home alone after heart surgery. That reminds me of Dr. Laura when her mother was dead for days and she didn't know it. Remember that?
No.
Yeah, Dr. Laura. This happened like in the 90s. This was the beginning of her downfall.
Oh, I was wondering what happened to her.
Her mother died. Well, the big downfall was she was talking about something with gays. I can't quite remember what that was.
Yes.
But she, her mother died, was dead for quite some time, and she didn't know. And they found her in the house.
How awful.
Now, they didn't live together. But Tim Walz leaving his 87-year-old mother alone during the lockdowns, even without the heart surgery, would be morally reprehensible. To do it with just with the heart surgery on top of it is as disgusting and as low life as it gets. I mean, I'm in shock.
I've had surgery. I've never had heart surgery, but I've had, gallbladder, my thyroid removed. I've had hysterectomy, which was brutal. And I got to tell you, and my dad, like I said, had open heart surgery. And my dad is a tough, active, athletic guy. And he's 87, 86 now. But I can't, and I remember, he said the thing about the heart surgery is your back really hurts because the way they stretch the muscles, when they open the sternum, it's your back muscles move in a way they've never moved. And he said his back was really in pain for like 3 to 6 months. And he had very strict orders. He could not lift anything. He could not. I mean, he was like an invalid, and my stepmom like took good care of him and everything. He had to leave work for 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
He could not do anything. So for somebody who's almost 90, I cannot imagine leaving her. He thinks he's a hero for doing this, leaving her alone. And then they dropped off food, so she had to walk to the door and pick it up. Who showered this woman? Who took care of her? Who helped her go to the bathroom?
How did she make the food that was left at the door? How did she even get to the door?
What
and
an
get
asshole.
The food?
I'm sorry, but he is.
Yeah.
There's no other word for it.
That is really sick.
What a jerk.
Where's the AARP?
And to brag about it.
Where are these senior citizen groups, AARP and others? This is disgusting.
Wow, you're right. More and more is coming out about this guy. He's a disaster.
He's a terrible person.
She should have chosen Kelly. I mean, I don't like the guy, but he's an astronaut and all this stuff. He would have been much better for her.
He's in league with China.
But, well, so's this guy. But I think Obama talked him out of. I don't think this guy was her choice. I think he was the only one that would do it.
With Kelly in Arizona, the senator there, the astronaut, came out a couple weeks ago. He owns a company that manufactures spy balloons, and it's partially owned with a partnership he has with the CCP. But Obama wanted him to be the nominee for some reason. So for some reason, they think Kelly is like the future of the Democrats. Good luck with that. So, we've got a lot more we're going to share throughout the podcast here on Walz. But that alone with the mother is one of the most disgusting things I've ever heard any man do. Think about it. Forget about politics. Take politics out of it, okay? If you knew of someone in your circle of friends that left an 87-year-old mother alone during lockdowns after they had open heart surgery, what would you think of that person? Take the politics out of it. You would think they were scum.
Oh.
Selfish scum.
Well, Brian, look what Democrats did to all the elderly people during COVID. How many died? They locked them in nursing homes. They wouldn't let them see their family. I remember I had to go see my cardiologist during COVID. It was the only time I had to go to the doctor during that time, that 2-year stretch. But I had a catheter at the time, and I had an infection, and I had to go. And it was during the height of COVID, and, we all had to wear masks and all to the hospital. And I asked him about it, and he said the hardest part about it, because he works in the hospital, he was the head of cardiology. He said the hardest part is all the people that are dying alone. He said because they won't let their family see them.
Disgusting.
He said I've had to bring up iPads and put them on FaceTime to say goodbye to their loved ones. And he said I just almost couldn't handle it. He said it was, and he's a family man. He's got kids and a wife. And he said, I almost couldn't bear it. He said, it was so hard. He said, that's been the hardest part for me. And that just broke my heart. And that's what the Democrats did. They kept people separated from their old people, dying, sick people had to die alone. And I don't think she died. I'm assuming she lived through that. But I cannot imagine being her age and being all by herself after surgery, and then during a COVID where you're so isolated and having to do everything on her own and get around the house. And what a heartless bastard.
Yeah, and I'll tell you,
that's his own mother.
Kamala Harris's campaign is in a really pathetic spot. We were talking on the last podcast, all these events she's done. There's not been any governors or senators or members of the House that have gone on in stage and endorsed her.
That's true.
The only thing she had was Shapiro in Pennsylvania when they introduced Walz, but they tricked him because he was on the list to be the nominee with her, and then that happened. But other than that, she hasn't had...
They don't want to be aligned with her.
Now, I know they got the endorsements, okay, that people verbally did or released press releases, but you're not seeing Obama or Pelosi or, she was in Arizona. You're not seeing Kelly. You're not seeing them up on stage with her.
No.
And for the last 24 hours, this is how pathetic the Kamala Harris, Tim Walz campaign is. For 24 hours, all I've been seeing on CNN and MSNBC and on Democrat post on X is that Jesse Ventura officially endorses Kamala Harris for president. Who gives a freak? I forgot about Jesse
Nobody
Ventura.
cares.
First off, He was never a Republican. He wasn't even a Democrat. He was a libertarian. I haven't heard about him in 20 years or more. Last time I heard about Jesse Ventura, after he was governor and he was desperate for attention, he had this racket where he went, I can't remember where he went, but he was going to live off the grid and do like a podcast from somewhere in the world off the grid. And I guess he thought he'd get a lot of publicity being off the grid, doing a podcast, which means he's really not off the grid. Now he's back. When's the last time you heard about Ventura? And even when Jesse Ventura was around, did you even care what so the best endorsement they can get with someone that will go on television and talk about her is Jesse Ventura. He's not a Republican or a Democrat. That's weak.
So there's a story going around that Trump called Kamala a bitch behind closed doors.
Of course.
Multiple times. Well, first of all, I have zero problem with that. And she called herself a bitch in a speech once. She was talking to people and she said, sometimes you got to be a blah, blah, blah. So she called herself that. She was proud of it. And so what if he called her that? She is one. I'm sure he's not the first person to call her that, and he won't be the last. But that's the story they're trying to do. They're trying to get women mad at Trump. They're trying to get women to
good luck.
Side with her. And this is the kind of nonsense. Another report. First of all, I don't believe that. I have never heard Trump use that word ever. He says the S word. He says BS a lot. That's his favorite. And I like that word too. He says that's his, but have you ever heard him say the B word ever?
Never.
I mean, he's talked about Rosie O'Donnell. He's talked about a lot of women that Megyn Kelly, that he has attacked publicly. I have never heard him use that word for anybody publicly. And believe me, if he wanted to, he would. But I think even he knows that that's crossing a line.
No.
And I don't think he's that kind of guy. He knows that's really insulting.
No, and this when he talked in the press,
I don't believe it.
When he talked to the Mar-a-Lago press conference about being in this helicopter that had a crash landing with Willie Brown, Newsom came out and said it wasn't true. Willie Brown said it wasn't true. He's 90. And
Willie Brown said it wasn't true.
Well, who knows? But yeah, he did say that. And
he loves Kamala.
They're trying to tell you it's Jerry Brown. And there's today. Trump called up the New York Times because they're the ones that started saying that's not true.
Oh.
And he called the reporters up and demanded a retraction. This was yesterday. And he said that he has proof that he was on this helicopter with Willie Brown and with the emergency landing and all of this business.
Trump's got receipts.
So, he's done nothing but fly around on helicopters his whole life. And,
Willie Brown probably doesn't even remember.
Not. Yeah, he may have flown around with Governor Jerry Brown surveying things, but he did some. If you remember, Trump did some project, which he may still own the property. I don't know, in the San Francisco area, because he donated to Pelosi, and
he said he donated to Kamala too,
and
because
Kamala
he was a developer there.
That's right.
That's what you had to do.
And he donated to them out there in San Francisco because he was building property out there.
That's right.
And Willie Brown's the party boss out there. So it makes perfect sense. I believe Trump. He in fact, the report is he was very angry when he got on the phone with the New York Times. And he hasn't released it yet because I think he's waiting to...
What kind of proof would he have? Like a newspaper clipping? Or
maybe a photograph of him on the helicopter. Maybe there was a news article in a newspaper at the time about the landing or about the event. He's got, If you look at Trump's, even when they tossed his office, he keeps every article and news clipping about him, right?
That's true.
He keeps everything. He's got files of everything. So some of them are framed. So he said he's got proof. I imagine it's a photograph, a news clipping. There's something, and this was a long time ago, so it may not be online. But I imagine he's holding on to it to see if they use it to go after him so he can embarrass them as opposed to coming out with it now.
He'll put it on Truth Social, whatever it is.
Now, in the next segment, I want to talk about Trump's emergency landing on his airplane yesterday in Montana. But Kamala had a rally, and there's been two things with Kamala. One was she's done a couple of these rallies where they've had the free concerts, right? We've talked about that.
Right.
There was this one event she did at an airplane hangar, and the crowd photographs were AI.
They were AI. I saw the picture at first, And I said to you, God, I said, this is a lot of people here. I said, there's like 10,000, 20,000.
I said, well, unfortunately, there's, a lot of people are Democrats.
Well, and then it came out that it was half the audience was AI generated.
That's correct. And then she just did this event in Arizona, and they put curtains and covered up the top two sections, not just the nosebleeds, but the next level down where like the club level seats are. And she filled up maybe half, maybe a little less than half of a 20-seat arena. And they put these curtains down. And when you saw the video,
I'd say about a third.
Yeah, maybe. When you see when you see the video, the curtains, it's deceptive. It looks like walls. But a lot of people there were taking selfies and photographs and posting them on social media. And you could see the curtains. Well, so, fake crowd size made it look like a full arena when it wasn't.
Yeah, and on TV, those curtains look like
walls.
It's a wall.
Yeah, like a wall. Well, it came out, two things have come out about this.
Yes.
One, it was an invite-only event. Okay? It was an invite-only event. So people couldn't just show up to this event. You had to be invited to go. Whatever that means,
right?
They
bussed people in.
Well, yes, they were bussing people in. And they knew how many they needed because they blocked off so many seats. They knew how many were left. And the reason that they bussed people in is they wanted people that wouldn't walk out like before with the free concerts. And then...
That's right. They had to wait to the end to get their bus home.
And then something came out. They were posting, was this the Craigslist?
Yep. That's where they recruit people.
I didn't even know Craigslist was still a thing. Yep. Listen to this. The Kamala Harris campaign through an organization called Team Happy Democrats posted...
Is that such a thing?
Yeah, well...
They seem miserable to me.
They posted this, a casting call to attend the Kamala Harris rally, and they were offering to pay individuals $225 to go.
Yeah.
Now, usually how that would work, they probably wouldn't pay them till the end, so they don't walk out. Or they give them part of it up front.
They probably get like a voucher when they leave, and then they use that to, use a code or something to get money into their bank account. The ad said compensation pay is $225.
Right. And I'd like to know how they paid them on that. Did they pay because...
is it electronic? I don't think they were handing out $100 bills. It was probably electronic.
I could see... however they did it, did they give them 1099s or have they avoided taxes on this? You just can't pay people under the table, Somebody should look into this. So Kamala's rally, they limited the seats by putting up the curtains, right? It was invite only, and they did this casting call. They brought they bussed in people with their organization, and then they also did a casting call to fill up the seats that they wanted to fill up. And
that's what they accused Trump of doing. But believe me, if Trump was doing that, you would have evidence all over social media of this exact same thing, of Trump having a casting call or somebody affiliated with him having you've never seen that ever. And let me tell you, that rally last night was amazing. I watched it this morning because
Trump's rally.
Yeah, Trump's rally was amazing. I tried to stay up, but he didn't come on till like 11 Eastern, and it was time for me to go to bed. You were already asleep.
Yeah, I watched it
this morning. So we watched it this morning, and those people, they waited in line. These people are waiting in line 10, 12, sometimes two days, sometimes these people. And then they get in the arena, and they're there waiting for him for 8-9 hours. It is incredible to me. He is so appreciative. He was really, really on fire last night. He seemed really relaxed, even with that airplane scare. And he just was very loose, and he seemed to be having a really good time. And he's very appreciative. Not that he never was, but since the shooting, I think it really has made him appreciative even more of the audience and the people that come out. And he said last night, being president is very dangerous. I've never heard him say that before. And that's because all these things happening. And I think he's really admires the audience that comes there to see him more than ever, because those people got hurt at the one rally, and still come. They still come, even though there was a shooter. They're still coming. And I think he's really impressed by that. I am too.
Yeah. Now I want to talk about Tom Laporta at Laporta Roofing. If you're in the state of Florida and you need roof repair or a new roof, call Tom Laporta. I'm going to give you his cell phone number in a moment. But, Tom Laporta has been with us on the radio show for years now. He replaced Steve's roof, and he also did a lot of other work at Steve's house because Steve, this is how we found Tom Laporta. Steve had a wet spot on his ceiling. Now, I always tell you, if you see a wet spot on your ceiling, you got a leak in your roof, call Tom Laporta. Steve ignored the wet spot. It got bigger and bigger. He had wet spots all over his ceiling, and it was bad. In fact, I remember going to Steve's house. I could smell that smell from mold.
That mildew and mold, yeah.
You don't really say anything to people because it's rude. Oh, your house stinks. I didn't say anything. And we found Tom Laporta. Tom Laporta came out, and sadly, Steve needed a whole new roof because he ignored it. But he did a mold and mildew test. 40% of Steve's home, 40% of the drywall was infected with that deadly black mold that he and his family were breathing.
Because you have Florida where it's wet and hot.
Yeah.
And mold loves that. That's the perfect environment.
So because if he would have called Tom Laporta when he saw that wet spot, he'd have probably just needed a simple repair. But he had to get a whole new roof and
new walls.
Replace 40% of the drywall in his home. It was and Steve's got a big house. Okay, it's a big 2-story house, massive house. And that's a lot. Like in our house, it'd be a lot, but we have a small house. Steve has like almost a mansion, like a mini mansion kind of thing going. That's a lot. And that drywall in some of his rooms, he's got rooms that are 2 stories high. That's a lot of drywall.
Yeah, that is.
That's a big job. And the
way it just drips down. It just goes from the roof all down into the walls. And that's true. If you have like a little spot that you can see it, you just look up and you can see it because it looks darker and it looks different than the rest of the ceiling. Get it looked at. That's not something that's going to go away or get better.
And what Tom Laporta told me, he asked me if I had smelled it when I went over there. I said, yeah, but I didn't say anything because I didn't want to be like, your house smells. And he says, yeah, they didn't smell it because when this happens to someone's house, it happens gradually, so they're used to it.
That's right.
That's right. So listen, if you're in the state of Florida, we just had this hurricane go by, and even those of us that luckily got missed by the hurricane, we got a lot of rain and a lot of wind. If
we're in the tropics.
Mm-hmm, if you have any roof damage, call Tom Laporta. He works with every type of roofing material and on every type of structure. His cell phone number is 954-604-4602. 954-604-4602. You can also text him, by the way.
Yep, and that's a direct link to the boss himself.
That's right, 954-604-4602. All right, make sure you tell him that I told you about him. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. We'll be back right after this.
Have you been searching and searching for the perfect action figure or toys? Your search is over with Eduardo's Toy Co. on Mercari.com. Eduardo's Toy Co. is passionate about making people happy with toys. They have everything you're looking for, from the WWE to the DC Multiverse, Harley Quinn, and much, much more. There's something for every collector and lover of toys at Eduardo's Toy Co. on Mercari.com. Need gaming electronics? They've got that too, like the Sony PSP 1000. All the prices are fair and nothing is ever overpriced. You'll also find unmatched friendliness and communication. If you have any questions or can't find what you're looking for, feel free to message Eduardo anytime and he'll get right back to you. They're perfect for gift shopping too. Visit Eduardo's Toy Co. on Mercari.com. Just go to Mercari.com and search Eduardo's Toy Co. That's Eduardo's Toy Co. on Mercari.com. Start shopping right now. Are you a business owner, large or small? Or do you work from home? Then listen up. Universal Shop Limited is your home for all the business tools you need for your company's success. Universal Shop Limited provide essential tools for all businesses. From eye-catching marketing templates to efficient organizational tools, they have everything you're looking for your company. Check out their best-selling Small Business Organizer, the ultimate planner for startup owners, with sections for goal setting, financial planning, and day-to-day operations. operations. Their virtual shelves are filled with digital tools that are meticulously crafted to empower you and your business. Their inventory includes product inventory trackers, printable cash receipts, monthly bill trackers, and so much more. Whether you need a work-from-home planner or a digital food inventory tracker, Universal Shop Limited has what you're searching for. Visit the Etsy shop right now, online at universalshoplimited.etsy.com, and elevate your business to new heights. universalshoplimited.etsy.com, empowering your business with the tools for success. Find everything your business needs right now at universalshoplimited.etsy.com. Are you looking for eco-friendly fashion that doesn't compromise on style? Then check out Mindus.com. That's MENDISS, where fashion meets sustainability. At Mindus.com, they're all about sustainable fashion. They offer classic designs that are made from lightweight, eco-friendly fabrics, with made-on-demand t-shirts and ultimate comfort hoodies. They're soft, stylish, and have practical pouch pockets. They're perfect for everyone and every occasion. They're soft, sustainable, durable, and reliable. You will feel the difference each and every time you wear them. The fabrics are as soft as they are durable, giving you ultimate comfort while caring for the planet at the same time. Their motto is, Unity is Power. Mindus is more than just a brand. It's a movement of collective responsibility in making sustainable choices. Join the Mindus community and make a positive impact through sustainable fashion choices. Mindus.com, where fashion meets sustainability. Mindus.com. In the year 1979, a young boy named Michael witnesses the unthinkable, the brutal murder of both of his parents. When the police fail to act, he's left to fend for himself, an orphan driven by an obsession for justice and a burning desire to fulfill his father's dream of time travel. From author John Jacob Dawson comes your next must-read book, Past Crimes, available on Amazon. Fast forwarding to the present day, Michael is now a man. His quest for justice is more urgent than ever. But as he pushes the boundaries of time and morality, a determined young police officer, Cassie, begins to unravel a case that could change everything. The paths between past and present are blurred, and the quest for justice becomes a desperate race against time. Will Michael finally achieve the justice he's fought so hard for? Or will his pursuit of the past destroy everything he holds dear? Find out when you read Past Crimes from author John Jacob Dawson on Amazon. Past Crimes is filled with shocking twists as well as relentless suspense. It's also a great addition to your book club. Past Crimes from John Jacob Dawson on Amazon.
You are listening to The Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at BrianCraigShow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host, Kathy. Thanks so much, everyone, for tuning in. Okay. Yesterday, late in the day, I was live streaming on YouTube here at home doing one of my weekend YouTube shows. And by the way, you guys should follow me on YouTube. Just search Brian Craig on YouTube, Brian Craig Show on YouTube. My channel comes up. The YouTube channel that I live stream in the morning. On the weekends, I do shows all weekend long. And I even do YouTube live streams before I go to the radio show in the morning. Sometimes 2, 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning here at home. And I do them all the time.
And there's a live chat.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah. Plus, we load the podcast up there. But anyway, I was Friday late in the day because Trump's rally last night. He was supposed to come out at 10 p.m. Eastern. And because of my schedule, 10 p.m. is past my bedtime. That's why I got up at 6:30 this morning on Saturday, and I watched Trump's speech before you got up, Kathy. Then I watched it again with you later in the morning. It was really good, and he was extra energized, and he didn't start speaking till 11 or so.
No, he looked great. I love the navy blue suit. He stopped wearing the royal blue suit after he got shot, and he switched to navy blue now, which looks I hate royal blue. It's and I love blue, but that's my least favorite color of the blues. And he always wore that royal blue suit with the red tie, and ever since he got shot, he's changed it. His uniform is now navy blue, and it looks much sharper. He's lost a lot of weight, but he looks good. He's not too thin. He shouldn't lose any more. But I thought he looked fantastic last night.
Yeah, I thought he looked good, and he sounded even better. So I'm doing this live stream show last night on YouTube, and I was talking about this coward, Joe Rogan, who he endorsed RFK Jr., and then later he took it back. And
Didn't Tim Pool do the same thing?
Yeah, they're both too big of wimps to endorse Trump.
That's right. They're afraid.
And I was talking about that, and then right in the middle of the stream, news breaks on that President Trump's plane has had to make an emergency landing.
Right.
And he was on his way to this rally, and along the way there was a hydraulic issue. We don't know exactly what the problem was yet.
Said a leak.
A leak, a malfunction. They actually turned the plane around, did a complete U-turn, and flew to a different airport than they intended, and got on a smaller private plane and then flew to the rally. And my immediate reaction was it was another assassination attempt. That's the third one in a month. A month ago today, they shot him. All right,
That's
it's been
right.
a month.
He talked about that. So he said 4 weeks ago.
A couple of days ago, they arrested this.
That's right.
This Muslim terrorist that the FBI let into the country that was plotting to assassinate Trump.
Oh my
and
goodness.
then this problem on the plane, and nothing could convince me that it was not another assassination attempt. And I'll tell you why.
Yeah, it seems suspicious.
I have never known Trump Force One to have mechanical problems, and
Never.
some of the people I've heard trying to say, well, it's an old plane. That plane wasn't used for the 4 years while he was president. He had the entire plane, the engines completely new.
That's right.
And they redid the whole plane because it was out of action for 4 years. The Trump kids didn't use it. He had another plane, a smaller one.
That plane is so nice. When you see video on the inside, it is absolutely gorgeous.
And I've seen it in person, speaking of the YouTube, many times I'll stop by and do a YouTube live stream, sometimes on my way to the radio station in the morning, and it parks right where Air Force One parks when, but anyway, the engines and everything are new. It was completely redone at the end of his first term. Yeah. So everything is new. And I've never heard of a mechanical problem. And Trump last night, it was after midnight, and he was talking, because I even though I watched it this morning, I watched it on Right Side, and they had the time that it was, and it was after midnight, and he, that's pretty late because he gets up like 4 or 5 in the morning.
Oh yeah, he talked about that. He said it's a different time zone for me. He said it's very late, but he's there, and that's a red state. That's a very red state. But he wanted to go there.
There's an important race there. The Senate race is important,
right? Yeah, that's exactly right.
But I think he also thinks it was an assassination attempt, and I think he was got a dose of adrenaline from it, and just like he did when they shot him, the fight.
Yeah.
I think he was in that head, because when he was talking about being shot, I felt he was also talking about the plane incident. He was talking about being president is very dangerous, and I thought he was talking about the plane incident. And it took him hours longer to get there because of this mechanical failure.
But he got there. And he talked about God too. And I think all these things that are happening that he's being protected from, I think it's making him feel more emboldened. God really is protecting me. How many people pray for Trump? How many people have prayed over Trump over the years?
More than any other man alive.
I pray for him all the time.
More than any other man alive.
Yep, I prayed for him last night. I pray for him all the time, for his safety, his family. And we should all continue to pray for him, especially now. And, the Bible says we're more than one are gathered, and I think he appreciates that, and he really feels that those prayers.
Oh, yeah.
And it means a lot to him. And I felt last night there was zero fear on this guy.
No.
Zero anxiety. He looked totally calm, totally relaxed. And he doesn't do drugs. He doesn't drink. He's talked about that his whole life. He doesn't do any
I don't even know if he has coffee.
He said he's probably not. He's never had a drink in his life. And he's probably the kind of guy who doesn't even take Tylenol. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he was totally calm and totally relaxed last night, and how he didn't look nervous or upset. And then they played this wonderful vignette of Kamala Harris. He calls her Kamala now, which is kind of funny. He says, "Who the hell cares?" He said, "I don't care how you pronounce her name."
Exactly.
He said, "It's so stupid." So he played this wonderful vignette of her, and it was one disaster. It's just like a montage of her, and it was like 3 or 4 minutes, and you've got to see it in the rally. It was so good. And it's just one stupid, she's an idiot. Yeah. She is. There's no way you can't watch that and not think this is a dumb woman.
Well, so I wanted to play this audio here. This is Grant Stinchfield. Grant Stinchfield used to be on Newsmax, and they fired him quite some time ago, and I liked him a lot. They fired him to make room for Greta Van Boring over there, and he said they were really hard on him because, like us, he's opposed to U.S. involvement in this Ukraine war, and
that's when he got fired.
They were really pushing him to be pro-Ukraine and not be anti our involvement in that, and he had some problems over that. But anyway, after the plane malfunction, Grant Stinchfield went on line on Twitter and said this, and I agree with everything he's saying. I think all of you will too.
Tonight, I'm issuing an emergency plea to President Trump. He's got to hunker down in Mar-a-Lago for the next week, while only those closest to him, only the very people that he trusts the most, revet, reinvestigate everyone surrounding his security detail, everyone involved in his security detail, everyone involved in the maintenance of his plane, anyone that comes anywhere near President Trump needs to be revetted and reinvestigated. This after an emergency landing of Trump Force One. Folks, the Democrats will stop at nothing. They want this man dead. They will do everything they can to stop him from getting into the White House. First, the assassination attempt. Then this Pakistani plot to kill President Trump. We're now learning the FBI let this guy in with some kind of a special benefit to society visa. This is the kind of thing we're talking about.
God.
I don't trust anyone right now. So President Trump, if you're listening to me, please hunker down, surround yourself with those you trust, and let them go back through everyone on your security detail, everyone that is involved in the maintenance of your plane, everyone that is involved in the transportation and movement of where you go. This is of the utmost importance. We've got to secure President Trump's life and make sure he gets back to the White House.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's a MAGA person that didn't immediately think that the mechanical failure, I believe it is, another assassination attempt.
That's what I thought. I think we all think
But
that.
you know what? His plane is so good and his pilots are so good.
Yeah.
That
his pilots, I saw a video because the guy that Scavino posts a lot of videos. Mm-hmm. His pilots are old school guys. These guys are like 70. Okay,
really.
One of them, he's like Scully, and these are guys that probably flew planes, and I don't know if they might be too young for Vietnam. I don't know. How old's your dad?
My dad is 69.
Yeah, the one guy looks like he probably was in Vietnam. He's that age, and he flies the plane. He's the captain. These guys are the top pilots you could get, okay? Guys that have...
No, my dad's 64. If he was 69, he would have been 15 when I was...
Your dad's only 64? That can't be right.
Yeah. No. My dad's 74. Oh my God. My dad's 74.
I was going to say.
Yeah, my dad's 74.
My dad's 86.
Yeah, my dad's 20 years older than me. He's 74.
Yeah, okay. So he was 20 when
I'm at
born.
the age now because
But that's how old these pilots are, so I'm sure they were in Vietnam. And they're like Captain Scully. These are top guys. You think Trump's going to hire DEI pilots?
No DEI pilots.
He's going to have the top of the line guys. These are guys that probably flew in combat zones, okay, like in Platoon. Yeah. Okay, so nothing to worry about here. They can handle.
Kathy, if my dad was 65, he would have been 11 when I was born.
Well, that's
so
very. He's very
10 or 11.
Guy
yeah, no. He's 74. My dad.
Yeah,
and my mom's 73.
Okay.
When you get to be like I'm 53, you
that is crazy.
You kind of block out the age.
They're not that much older than you.
My mom's 19 years older than me, and my dad's 20 years older than me.
See, my parents are 30. 28 and 32 years older than I am.
I know. That's why when my
your parents were young.
When my mother has health issues, because I tell Kathy I start to worry because she's only 19 years older than me, and women live longer than men. So I always get kind of nervous because we're kind of close
You're fine.
Kind of close in age. But this plane malfunction, I don't buy it at all.
No. All of a sudden, This plane's having this top
But
of the
I
line
think-
plane with Rolls-Royce engines.
I
is
think
having
it's safe to
problems?
trust people that were on it, because no one that was on it would be part of sabotaging it.
Well, obviously no.
Not knowingly. So the people that are on it, I think that they're clear now.
Well, believe me, Trump will look into the security of the last airport where it was. Now, if he left Palm Beach Airport, now when you drive by, do they still have buses?
No.
You're kidding.
There's a fence. You can't.
No, but they used to have school buses.
They
around
had school
there.
buses around there. When Air Force One is here, they surround it with school buses as a wall.
Do they do that still?
Not with Trump Force One. No, but it's behind a fence.
I see, with Air Force One. Okay.
It's behind a fence.
So he needs to probably not depend on the airport security guys, TSA or whatever they hire. And he probably needs to now have, I keep saying he's got to hire his own security detail to do these, extra little things here and have somebody guarding his plane, for God's sakes.
Randy Quaid posted on X today. He was talking about Kamala, not Dennis Quaid, Randy Quaid. From Independence Day and
we love Randy
National
Quaid.
Lampoon's Vacation. I love them both.
Eddie, cousin Eddie.
Yeah, Randy Quaid, Dennis Quaid. I like them both.
They're both
and
great.
I kind of like Randy Quaid.
That Reagan
movies
movie
better.
comes out this month with Dennis Quaid. That's going to be excellent.
Yeah, when the Reagan movie with Dennis Quaid comes out, I'm probably going to see it in the theater so that I can talk about it, because it's coming out exclusively in theaters for a while, and I cannot even remember the last time I've been to a movie theater. My guess would be the last time a Star Wars movie came out, and that had to be like 2019.
That was Rogue One. Maybe
I don't know.
You and I saw that in the theater.
18 or 19
Before
was
COVID,
the last time.
for sure.
But Randy Quaid, this is from Independence Day, National Lampoon's Vacation, not Dennis Quaid. He said he did a movie with Richard Pryor called Moving in the 1980s. I've heard of the movie, never seen it.
Yeah, I've never seen it.
And he said Richard Pryor plays a character who thinks he's being promoted, but he's really the fall guy for the company's corruption. And he says that's what the Democrats are doing with Kamala.
Which is what you've been saying.
And I've been telling you guys for weeks and weeks that the Democrats do not expect to win the presidency. This is about them holding on to seats in both houses of Congress from some of the old guard, and some of the senior party leadership that they're afraid they're going to lose. So they want to have somebody on the ballot that'll at least get some people out to save these congressional seats. But they totally intend on losing the presidency. And this is why you're not seeing the Gavin Newsoms and the Whitmers out there with her. Now, that doesn't mean that after the convention and at the convention, these people won't be saying nice things about her or may do some appearances. But they're not now. They're keeping their distance because they don't want to be connected with a loser. Because some of these Democrats, Newsom and Whitmer, think they're future presidents, okay? So they're going to go for it, probably both of them in 2028. And they don't want to be They don't want to be associated with a loser, and they didn't want to run against Trump and be losers.
I think that's why she had a hard time finding a running mate, because
And got this idiot
because people didn't want to hitch their horse to her wagon because they figured, well, she's probably not going to win, and what's that going to do when I want to run for whatever, and because that's how it is in politics. You know what I mean? You want to be affiliated with a winner.
But I gotta tell you, I have been hearing, this is a crazy thing I'm about to say, guys, okay? And I'm not predicting that this will happen, but it's possible. Almost every negative thing that has come out about Walz has come out from people in Minnesota.
Yeah, that says a lot.
He is not that popular in Minnesota. I'm not sure, but I know a lot of people talk about the Somalian vote and everything out there.
Yeah, that's huge. That's what my cousin told me.
He is not popular in Minnesota. In fact, people are pretty pissed at him over all kinds of things in Minnesota. The Stolen Valor comes out of Minnesota, but there's a lot of other things too. It's possible. I know this sounds crazy. It's possible Trump could win Minnesota with Walz on it. Walz may be kind of like
has he done a rally there?
Anti-help. I haven't seen them go to Minnesota yet. The first thing they did was in Philadelphia, right?
If he did has Trump done a rally in Minnesota?
This campaign, I can't remember offhand.
He should do a rally in St. Paul, do a big rally there.
For some reason, there was some talk that Minnesota might be I think he did a rally in Minnesota recently. It seems familiar. I could be wrong.
Let us know.
But,
I can't remember.
But Walz, there's such an. I understand he's gotten elected he got elected there. I understand that statewide. But you know what? DeSantis was very popular when he got elected and reelected. If DeSantis were he's totally unelectable in Florida. In fact, he's endorsing people running for office in Florida, and I see them bragging about it. That's like an anti-endorsement. I mean, he's poison.
He's definitely going to run in 2028.
So, and DeSantis was like a big hero type guy, and now he's hated in Florida by Republicans. And it seems to me Walz has pissed off so many people in Minnesota as governor, and many of them have become activists against him right now, and that it's possible they could lose Minnesota.
I think if Trump has not done
he's hated so much.
He needs to do a rally there.
I think he did, because we were talking. I remember all of it. It's hard to keep track of all the rallies, right? I'm sure people listening are going to tell us, yes. And it was probably like a couple weeks ago. It seems like he did. Yeah. He does so many rallies. It's hard for me to keep track of what cities they're in sometimes and states.
Yeah.
But there was talk that Minnesota was possibly in play.
That'd be amazing.
And what I mean is this. The people that hate Walz in Minnesota are now activists against Walz. Have you noticed? They have mobilized and they're organized.
Yes.
And that would be something else, wouldn't it? We really need a cleansing of this liberal nonsense that's running this country.
Yeah.
You know, the Democrat Party.
The 2 squad members are out.
Yeah, but there's like, the Democrat Party is being run by radical activists, mostly Islamic pro-terrorists, seem to be the strongest voice that they have there.
Yes.
And yesterday at this Arizona rally, Kamala did this fake scripted thing. They had like these fake hecklers, and then she and I know it was set up because she spoke clearly, and I saw her look down at a paper.
That's right. You know it was a fake heckler because she actually answered them using a script.
Yeah, she looked down.
So it was almost on cue.
It wasn't on the she looked down at the podium, and then she said some things about returning the hostages and a ceasefire.
Right. Yep.
It was totally fake. Nothing could convince me that it was not fake.
It's obvious when you watch it. Yeah.
Exactly. Just with the curtains.
Whenever she is off script, she's a moron. I mean, she's so stupid. I just keep thinking of the thing when
you noticed that too when she looked at the podium.
Yes, and I just always think of when she got her bus and she came out singing "The Wheels on the Bus."
Oh my goodness!
This is a 60-year-old woman. The wheels on the bus. I was like, what? And then when she talks off script, what she does, I've noticed, is she memorizes things to say. And when she starts, and I've said this before, when she starts repeating herself, it's because she's trying to remember her next line.
Yes.
So she's saying the line. You know how I don't know if you've ever been in a play, but I was in a few plays when I was little. And whenever somebody can't remember the next line, they repeat the line they just said to try to jog that. You know what I mean? So that's what she's doing. She's repeating the line over and over 3, 4, 5 times because she can't remember her next line. And then she's waiting for it to come to her. This is a woman who I don't know. I mean, she's so bizarre. I compare her to the Scarecrow before he got his brain. She even looks like him a little bit.
Scarecrow was smarter before he had,
Maybe I'm insulting Ray Bolger too much, but
he could sing and dance and stuff.
Yeah, he was talented, but and he was a nice guy. Yeah, I guess that's true. But she's really dumb. I mean, I have never seen anybody in politics
not at that level, at that age.
And even Trump said she's stupid. He said Hillary, is a smart person, and I don't think there's any. She's crazy and she's deluded. And she's like going through PTSD because she lost the election.
Yeah.
But he said, he knows Hillary. He said she's a smart lady. And, and I think we can all agree she's not dumb. She's just nuts. But Kamala is just stupid.
Yeah.
She's just plain stupid.
Now, there's new video dropped involving President Trump today that I've never heard before. And I want to play it for you. It's pretty self-explanatory. But there was a rapist that the New York City Police Department were trying to capture in New York City, and Trump got involved to bring this rapist to justice. And a guy from the New York City Police Department told what Trump did. Listen.
This case still haunts me to this day. In the late 90s, I was involved with a case called the Eastside Rape case. The case was a serial rapist who at gunpoint raped and sodomized at least 16 victims. It was a terror campaign that went on for at least 3 years. We were doing all we could to capture this rapist. I wanted to do a mailing in the community. The mailer was so important to us to get it to every single person that lived in the areas where he was attacking these women. The mailers cost, anywhere between $10,000 and $40,000 to do. Mr. Trump would willingly give between the $10,000 and $40,000 that we needed, and that happened just within a few days. Donald Trump was definitely a leader who stepped up for the cops, the detectives, and the women. In this case, there is absolutely no doubt.
Wow, that's absolutely amazing, isn't it? I mean, that's his own money. His own money. Who in politics uses their own money for things like that and then doesn't go around bragging about it? Now, we got a big announcement from Mike Lindell. Now, remember, Tim Walz, this is nuts, tried to shut MyPillow down and kick them out of the state of Minnesota. A couple thousand people work for Mike Lindell in Minnesota, and Tim Walz wanted to put them all out of work. And for one simple reason, Mike Lindell's MAGA. That's crazy. What a sicko guy Tim Walz is. And Mike Lindell has brought back with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane, free shipping on all orders site-wide that are over $75. So you can order anything on the site. If your total is over $75, it is free shipping with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane. Isn't that absolutely amazing? And the $25 extravaganza continues. Some of the top MyPillow products, including the towels, slippers, pillows, $25 with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane. But you can get that free shipping offer on orders over $75 site-wide. That's an incredible deal. I don't know how Mike Lindell's even making money. I mean, he's got these discounted prices. He's giving free shipping on orders over $75. So it's absolutely amazing what he's doing. And this free shipping offer is for a limited time. I don't know how long it's going to last. I'll just get a call, a text, or an email saying that's it.
You know, he has a mattress, and because Brian and I are probably going to get the mattress soon. Our mattress is like 10 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And I was looking at it, and it's a hybrid. What he has, it's a 2.0. It's before he had a foam. Now this one has foam and coils. And I was looking at other prices of other mattresses that are very comparable because they show the layers and what each layer in the mattress is and all this stuff. His mattress is like half of what all the other places sell it for.
That's
and it's
right.
the exact same materials and everything and very high quality. So if you need a mattress, I mean, it is a good deal.
And there's huge discounts on the MyPillow mattresses. And the mattress is going to be more than $75, so it's free shipping too, right?
Absolutely.
So use our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane. Remember, when you use our promo code Kane, Kane at checkout at MyPillow.com, you're supporting all the content I bring to you, the podcast here with Kathy, my YouTube channel, and the radio show. Promo code Kane, Kane, at checkout at MyPillow.com. That's all the time we have for today. We'll see you next time.